What's up, everyone? I'm Rossi McCree, and I'm the host of Rossi's Clubhouse. I have another great show for you guys tonight. This show's a little different, guys. So, just to let you all know, Rossi's Clubhouse is a Sacramento based podcast that focuses on interviews in all areas of entertainment. So, I'll have actors on, I've had producers on. Go check out that Matt Barnes interview, guys, still up on Rossi Clubhouse YouTube channel, and you can listen to me wherever you listen to podcasts, okay? Tonight, though, I have my first up and coming pro gamer. I am a huge gamer. I love games. I've been playing games since I was a young girl. All right. And I'm a grown adult that loves games. It's just something about being able to escape after a hard day's work and you come home and, you just want your mind just to go. And I love that about games. It's like reading a really good book, but you actually get to play that book out. And so, in the way things are today, I mean, you just have so many fabulous games and also a lot of retro games that I absolutely love. So, what makes this interview special tonight is that we're going to be talking to Trust, and Trust happens to be my son. And so he has worked really hard at getting back into playing games at a pro level that he's working his way up to. And so he's worked really hard to go from 0 followers to well past 2,000 followers and growing. So I thought it'd be fitting to have Trust on the show on Rossi's Clubhouse to be our first up and coming pro gamer. So everyone, let's meet Trust. Just a second. What's up, Trust? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm so happy that you decided to come on my show and let me interview you because you've gone through a lot, and being a pro gamer is not easy. I think people think that you just play games, and you do play games, but it's at a totally different level. So we'll
Yeah,
get into that. Um,
definitely.
like I let you guys know, Trust is my younger son, and he's been playing games since he's been able to hold a controller. And his first controller, he was so annoying that his first controller at 3 years old or 4 years old was a controller that it was an old controller that was cut. So we'd sit him down, and he'd think he was playing the games, watching us play, but he wasn't really playing the game. Just gave him something to do at times. But so he ended up falling in love with games. We were a household. His dad and I, his older brother, we love games. It was something that we did as a family. It was they earned their allowance, and they would go and start buying their games as they got older. So he's been doing this for a long time. But what I didn't know was that when he reached the age of 15, 16, well, I'll ask Trust that he was actually playing pro at that time. So, Trust, tell me about your love of games.
I mean, it started from a really young age. I honestly, it's really funny. I remember when I very first figured out that my controller wasn't plugged in, because me and my brother, we had a Sega, and there was a controller that came out with it, and it kind of looked like an N64 controller a little bit, and it
Yeah,
had like
yep.
3 buttons on the side, and it had like a D-pad. And I remember my brother, I can't remember what game he was playing, but he was playing something, and I noticed that my controller wasn't plugged in. I was like, hey, my controller's not plugged in. And that's when I
Yes.
realized, okay, like I'm not actually playing. And then I actually started playing. But geez, man, I remember back in like, God, it had to be like 2002. I had a friend named Lance, and we were living in Troutdale. And I would go down to Lance's house, and he had a GameCube. Only kid on the block who had a GameCube, and he had 4 controllers. And we would sit in his garage, and we'd play Super Smash Bros. on his GameCube, and it was awesome. And the first online experience I remember having,
Uh-huh.
I had this friend. His name was Brandon. He was like, God, he was like probably like 14 at the time. This had to have been like 2004, 2005. It was probably 2005. He was like 14. I remember going up to his house, and he had an Xbox original, he had Xbox Live, and he had Halo 2. And we could play split screen, and I could have a mic connected, and he had 2 mics. And that was my very first online gaming experience, was Halo 2. And let me
Wow.
tell you, that changed my life. On that was the point that I knew I love online gaming. It changed my
Okay.
life.
What system is your favorite system to play on? Before you even started playing online, what's your favorite game console?
If I'm talking like nostalgia wise, I honestly, even past nostalgia, I had to say PlayStation 2.
Okay.
PlayStation 2 was like literally cream of the crop. If I am talking about online though, I think Xbox 360
Okay.
definitely takes the cake when it comes to like online gaming. Like
Right.
I'm talking about Xbox 360 like 2007 to 2010. Like that is
Okay.
like peak Xbox 360, but overall gaming and everything and like games that came
Right.
out with it, Xbox or PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 was
Okay.
just perfect.
What game on PlayStation 2 was it that you just fell in love with and made you fall in love with that PlayStation 2 that you played all the time?
Mm,
I know. I know. There's so
that's
many.
really hard. That's really hard because at the time I really did love Guitar Hero. I will always love Guitar Hero. That was a great game. But honestly, I think the fact it would have to be San Andreas. It'd have to be Grand Theft Auto San Andreas because of the
Okay.
fact that like I never made my save on the memory card because I wasn't allowed to play it, and I would play it really early in the morning while everyone was sleeping,
Yeah.
and I would only get to like I'd get a little bit past the bike part. I'd see Grove Street. I'd play the same part, like the same 20 minutes, probably for gosh, it had to be so long. My friend Bubba had a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and Bubba, he was allowed to do anything he wanted. His parents did not care. So I played San Andreas at his house. Like, I figured out about the zero
Mm,
missions really early on and everything,
right.
but at my house, 8 in the morning, go grab the PlayStation 2, put it in my bedroom, play San Andreas, volume all the way down.
Yeah.
I, see the little parts and shit, and I was like, that was the game that really hooked me because the fact that like I had to actually sneak and play it, and I wanted to
Right.
play it so bad, and I like, I mean, dude, I even remember seeing Grand Theft Auto 3 when my parents very first got it. Obviously, you guys, when you guys very first got it,
Yeah.
and the very first cutscene came, you guys saw what was happening. You guys, all right, time to go to your room. Time to go to your
Right.
room. You guys can't watch this, but like I remember there was times where you'd let me drive in Vice City and everything, and just let me
Yep.
drive, and like you'd give me like 10 minutes of driving, and I loved it. I couldn't wait for you to hand over the controller and let me drive. Like the Grand Theft
Right.
Auto series is definitely like the series that just hooked me on PlayStation 2.
I totally get that. And just to explain to you guys, so in our household when the boys were younger, we had rules. They weren't able to play every single game. Obviously some games were just R rated for adults. Mature. They were mature games. So they had to reach a certain age that we felt. His father and I felt that he was able to play this game and understand that this is not real, this is a simulation, and just for them to understand because there was a lot of violence in the game. So I
Yeah.
didn't know at the time, obviously, that he was getting up and playing San Andreas, but he knew it was a rule in our house. You had to wait till you were 12 years old, 12, 13 years
Yep.
old before
Yep.
you can play, the mature games. So at 13 years old, not knowing he was already playing, the Grand Theft Auto, but I remember when you did turn, 12, 13 years old and the library opened up to you and we had an extensive gaming library downstairs in the gaming room. And
Massive.
so when you were able to have access to those games at that age, 12, 13 years old, I know that you played, you were able to play San Andreas, but what game did you go and say, now I can legally play this game and mom and dad are not going to punish me or ground me? I can legally play this game now. What
I
game was it?
literally Grand Theft Auto 3, then
Okay.
Vice City, then San Andreas. I literally went in
Okay.
order. And in Vice City, I got to the very end and I corrupted my save file because I like turned off the console while it was
Okay.
saving,
Mm,
corrupted my save file at the very end, played it all back over, enjoyed it
right.
obviously, and then I played San Andreas. Like I just went in order. Like those were the games I wanted to play the absolute most, which is why I say that like
Yeah.
those were like my favorite games on the PlayStation 2 because
Right.
those were the first games I went to. As soon as I knew I was of age to play it, Grand Theft
Right.
Auto 3, I popped that in. Loved Grand Theft Auto 3. Vice City, same thing. Loved Vice
Right.
City. And San Andreas was just, I mean, to this day, I don't think that they've made a game as good as San Andreas.
What is it about the Grand Theft Auto series that grabbed you? That you were like, I love this game to this day. You know,
Well,
what is it
I,
about what they did so well?
I really like movies like Pulp Fiction,
Okay,
Scarface, Reservoir Dogs. Like I like crime drama type of movies and stuff.
right,
And Grand Theft Auto kind of makes you feel like that you're in that crime drama type of movie. Like
right,
obviously Vice City is, based off the Scarface story. So you
right,
kind of feel like that you're playing Scarface before obviously a Scarface game came
right.
out, which was fantastic. And like with San Andreas, like there was just so much to do, and like we're talking about a PlayStation 2, like you could go to all these different fast food joints, you could
Yeah,
overeat, get fat, throw up while you're
right,
eating,
right,
you could work out, get ripped, you have swimming levels, driving levels, all the customizations. Like San Andreas was just this insane sandbox that was just amazing. You could get onto a plane, you could fly, you could either skip the flight or you could just sit there and watch your plane fly
right.
to where you're going to. Like there was so much to do. Like there's times where I wouldn't do a single mission. I would sit in Las Venturas and just sit in the casino
Okay,
and just play in the casinos. Like there was just
right.
so much to do in San Andreas, and like
I
I
agree.
loved that. Like even when I was playing those games, like I still had like that little kid imagination to where like I would just want to drive around and pretend like I was actually driving. Like I
Okay,
wouldn't even do shit. Like I would just pretend like I was actually driving on real
right,
streets and everything. And like Grand Theft Auto was just that game to where like it felt so alive. Like
right. I
every
get that.
NPC, it felt alive,
Right,
and it was just it was just so bustling, and like it was a
right,
game I've always wanted to play, and
right.
actually having the chance to play it and everything, I was just to this day, dude, I still have really fond memories of San Andreas, and it's not like rose tinted glasses. Like the game was actually great. Like the
No,
game
it
was
was,
just
it was.
honestly, it was great. Like yes, there was insanely hard missions. The zero missions, still to this
Right.
day, one
Oh,
of the
yes,
hardest missions. And
yes,
when you have to get your license and you have to fly that jet through the rings and go through
right,
Blaine County and everything, those missions
right.
are hard as hell. But still, it is a fantastic game to this day.
Absolutely. So speaking of like harder missions and when you're playing a game and you have those missions, like for instance, the zero missions were really hard. I remember it took me forever to get past that
Yeah.
level because I remember at the time playing, San Andreas. Well, yeah, playing San Andreas, you couldn't go to that next town, or that next mission, cycle unless you finished zero missions, and then you were
Yep.
able to graduate to go to. I think yeah, that was right before you were able to go to Las Venturas. I think that was like
Yeah, because you're
the
you're in
last
San
mission.
Fierro. You're in San
Yeah,
Fierro,
San
and then
Fierro. Yes,
those were the last groups of missions to go to Las
yes.
Venturas.
Yeah, and it was so exciting because to be able to basically Las Venturas basically was Vegas. It was Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And so everyone wanted to get there and go there. So to finish that hard mission was just it was crazy, crazy, and you had to do it or else you just that's where you were going to stay at. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with you know how do you deal with playing difficult games? What are your
Um.
strategies?
Well, I mean, I'll say this. The Call of Duty series, I've beat every campaign on veteran just because, like, there was a time when I played
Mm,
360, I really cared about my gamer score, and the best
okay,
way to get gamer score was to play like. I played obviously lots of Call of Duties, so I'd play them on veteran difficulty, and you'd get all the other ones before it and the veteran
right,
ones. And honestly, how I dealt with it was just making lots of mistakes and kind of learning from the mistakes. You just don't make the
right,
same mistake twice. Like there's a level on COD 4, and it was the Mile High Club. You had to beat it on veteran.
okay.
Really hard. On veteran, you die in like 1-2 bullets. Like you die
Mm,
very fast. You have a hostage that you have to. You're on a time limit, so you
right,
obviously don't want to die fast. You have to move
right,
through the plane flat or fast, excuse me, and then you have a hostage and you have to kill the guy while you have the hostage, and the hostage is kind of moving a lot, and by that
okay.
time you have like 10 seconds. So pretty much I don't know, I just kind of lock in. Like
Right,
when there's a hard mission, you're going to fail it a lot. Try not to rage, because raging is just going to make it even worse. Like you're going to lose even more, and
right. And
it takes
speaking of rage,
takes a lot not to rage. I will say that it takes a lot not to rage,
I
but
I I I
I
remember
mean,
those.
I mean, yeah,
I remember
but
coming in that
you
room like, what the heck
you
is
just you
going
just
on?
you just kind of fucking you make a lot of mistakes and you just learn from them.
Right. Now let's go back a little bit before, because I want to talk about COD because that's where you're playing professionally at right now. That's what you're doing right now. Your first
Kind
game
of
that
professionally, kind of
kind of
professionally.
professionally working up to that, up and coming, like we said, but
Yeah,
it's at a level that not everyone is playing at. Let's put it like that. It is
I
not
got you. I
easy.
got you.
You know what I mean? So, but you did play professionally at a point. What
Yeah.
age was it when you got on a team? Tell me how that happened, and when you went from casually playing games to you're competing.
Well, it's kind of a long story.
We have time.
Oh yeah, no, I got you. So back in like 2005, 2006, we had DirecTV, and there was a whole bunch of channels, and ESPN, like when you get to like the very last of the channels, I can't remember what channels they were, but there's a few like I'll kind of say exotic ESPN. Like they had
Okay.
like WNPA that you didn't have to have a subscription to watch. Because I remember we'd
Okay.
watch it and we'd see like how many empty seats were in the bleachers and we would kind of laugh and stuff like that. There was
Okay.
that was free. There was also Esports that was free, and they had Halo 2 tournaments that were on ESPN. And I remember seeing that and I was like, dude, this is awesome. And then I remember on MTV there was a True Life episode, and it was about people who were wanting to become pro gamers. And they were talking about Halo and everything, because Halo was like that was the pro game on console. Like
Okay.
Halo was big, that was the pro game. And I remember my very first COD was COD 4. Played it. I
Okay.
was like 12 years old, 2008. I remember I had like this really tiny, it was like a 12-inch TV. I had it at the end of my dad's desk. I sat in this little chair and I would play COD for, dude, I'd get home at like 4 o'clock. I'd play that until like 9 o'clock or so until I was told, Eli, you got to get off the game.
Right. Oh
And
yeah.
I played a lot of COD, and I remember World at War coming out, and I was not hyped about World at War because it was another World War II game, and at that time we were flooded with just every first-person shooter that came out was World War II. It was Medal of
Right.
Honor,
Right.
Fortune Sun, or whatever that game was called. Dude, there was just so many. So calm. There were
Right.
so many World War II games, and when I heard that World at War was a World War II game, I was just not hyped. So I I just played COD 4 for another year, like a lot of people did. And
Okay.
then about Modern Warfare 2 was like kind of the time where competitive started to come into my mind. This is when I started playing with like the team that I teamed with from Black Ops 1 until
Okay.
I actually like kind of quit gaming or kind of quit COD and Ghosts. We'll get to that point. But
Okay.
Modern Warfare 2, I played with some friends from school, and like we kind of had like this rule where like you don't play with friends from school, like you don't team with friends from
Okay.
school, because the people who play at school probably don't play the same COD as you. But I
Okay.
happened to find people who did play the same COD as me, and we played a lot. There was a thing back in COD, it was called pub stomping. Before
Okay.
SBMM, skill based matchmaking, was a thing, you would just get put in lobbies. Like you'd have some people who are really good, you'd have some people who are really bad. It was just kind of a mix, you know. And
Okay.
back then, if you wanted to get better at the game, you played the game more. They didn't like kind of give you easier lobbies and put you with people who were the same skill level as you. You
Okay.
were just put into a lobby, and if you got shit on, you got shit on. And if you wanted to get
Okay.
better, guess what? You're gonna get better. And that's just eventually what happens. And I would play with these friends, and we would just pub stomp. We would play team tack 4-on-4, and we would just pub stomp, just go on winning streaks, get like all these crazy streaks, drop nukes, all this stuff.
Wow.
And at like the end of Black Ops or end of Modern Warfare 2, pub stomping, it kind of got a little bit boring. And
Okay.
Black Ops 1, we would play, and like we would just kind of play casually. Like the game just came out, we were grinding prestige and going through first, second, third, so on and so forth. And we kind of got to a point to where pub stomping wasn't as fun, and there was a playlist mode in there called Bare Bones. And what Bare
Okay.
Bones was back in the day, Bare Bones was just like how it used to be before all the streaks happened. It was 3, 3, 5, 7. You'd get your simple streaks just like in COD 4 and World at
Right.
War, and that
Right.
was Bare Bones. And they had a Bare Bones competitive playlist, which was no streaks, certain weapons allowed, and that was like the first ranked kind of playlist that COD had, and we would play that, and that kind of got us more interested in like playing competitive. And we figured out about a website called Game Battles. In Game Battles,
Okay.
you can make a team, you can go up against other teams, and then you'd get points, and these points go into your profile. And once you hit 10,000 points on Game Battles, you're considered a pro. I
Okay.
stopped at 7,500, so I'm considered pro am. I stopped at
Okay.
7,500, and we
Wow.
started playing. We would do S&D only. We would do like either one and dones, best of
Okay.
threes, or best of fives. So we'd do S&D only. We got really good at S&D. I mean, we would smash on S&D. Oh my gosh, we would go on like 40 game win streaks, 50 game win streaks. If we lost, we would just cut the team, make a new team. And we did that for a while. And once
Okay.
Modern Warfare 3 came around, we decided, okay, we're good enough at search. Like, let's just play Team Ladder. And what Team Ladder is like what they play in the pro circuit. So
Okay.
back then, it was game one, domination, game two, search and destroy, game three, capture the flag. And that
Okay.
was best of three. If it was best of five, it'd be Dom, S&D, capture
Okay.
the flag, Dom, S&D. That's how it
Okay.
would go. And we would usually do best of threes, and we would play team ladder. Started getting a lot more losses in team ladder, but I mean, we were playing like a different game mode rather than S&D. So we started
Okay.
kind of learning that. We started getting a lot better at Dom and
Okay.
S&D, or Dom and capture the flag. Got really good, and then Black Ops 2, when Black Ops 2 came around, it changed competitive Call of Duty until
Okay.
this day. Like, this is like what really changed the course. And like, I'd say Black Ops 2 and Ghost was like where I saw like the most competitive growth of myself. Modern
Okay.
Warfare 3, and I will mention this, Modern Warfare 3, we did do like, we had some S&D teams, and we would do like, 4-on-4 type stuff. And we won a
Right.
few online tournaments in Modern Warfare 3. I'm talking
Wow.
like $50, stuff like that. Like,
Okay.
it was
Okay.
nothing crazy. Like, prize
Right.
pools in Call of Duty back then, they weren't crazy. Call of Duty
Okay.
was like a AAA game, but
Okay.
like at like a online amateur level, I mean, you
Yeah.
weren't gonna make that much. Like, there was like
Okay.
prize pools for like Microsoft points and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
we won like some online tournaments, but it was nothing crazy. Like, the best part
Okay.
about those online tournaments was the amount of pro points that you got, because you would get
Okay.
like 100 pro points for winning an online tournament and stuff like
Wow.
that. So we just played. That was all we played. Like, it got to a point to where like I'll always say this: competitive Call of Duty ruined casual Call of Duty for me, because once I started playing competitive, I couldn't
Yeah.
enjoy casual Call of Duty like how I used to, because
I
I
was
knew
gonna
the
ask you about
competitive
that.
side. Like, it just really ruined casual Call of Duty for me, even to this day.
Okay.
But Black
Hmm.
Ops 2, when we got to Black Ops 2, domination was no longer a thing. They took that
Okay.
out, which I hated dom and competitive. I always hated dom, and they brought in hardpoint, which is pretty much like capture the or king of the hill.
Okay.
Whoever sits on the hill the longest until
Yep.
250 points won the game, and
Okay.
it was great. Lots of stuff going on. Hardpoint's great. People enjoyed watching it. We saw numbers grow on like views and everything,
Okay.
and we were still pretty decent at S&D. Black Ops 2,
Okay.
Black Ops 2 changed a lot. It was the most balanced Call of Duty that we had. Like, there was counters to pretty much everything.
Okay.
Um, Capture the flag was still in there, and like in Hardpoint, I was a main AR. Like, and the roles in competitive Call of Duty when it comes to 4v4, you
Yeah.
have a main AR, you have your flex, who is someone who can run SMG or can run an AR. Usually, you
Okay.
want to have two ARs, two subs, and then you have your other two guys who are your sub duo. They always
Okay.
are usually running a sub, but I was main AR. So in Hardpoint, you anchor, you hold spawns for your team and everything. And
Okay.
that was like when I feel like our team had the most chemistry. We actually got the most online wins. Like, that was when I got
Wow.
majority of my pro points. Like, Black Ops 2 was like when I feel like I was really at my fucking peak. Like, when I was
Okay.
really I was there. I was locked in. I could wake up
Right.
out of my sleep. I was ready to get on. I was ready to go. Like,
Right.
we were always playing tournaments. We were always playing game battles. Like, and we always had this thing where we always hated losing more than winning, and we always had this really bad problem of like we couldn't let shit go. Like, if we lost a
Okay.
game, it would be silent. Like no one would
Really?
say a word silent, and no one's muted their mics. Like it's just we are silent, not saying a
Right.
word. And I mean, I wish I could go
Mm,
back now with like the mindset that I have now, because
right.
I mean, you just gotta shake that shit off. Like it would follow us into our next match, and like if we
Okay.
lost the match and like it was a really close match, it
Yeah.
would eat us alive to the point to where like it would just downward into a spiral.
So would I was gonna say, so would you consider
Like
that your downfall basically
oh
with the
yeah,
team?
like
Okay.
we all had really bad anger problems, and there's
Okay.
sometimes where like we would rage before we would call out, but we did get to a point to where like in Modern Warfare 3 we kind of fixed that. Like we had this thing of don't create bad habits, you know.
Okay.
If you do this one thing and you do it against like an easy team, you're gonna do
Okay.
it against a hard team and you're gonna just lose shit. So like we always had this thing, don't create bad habits, always play the
Okay.
same team. Like even if we know that the team has like a really bad record, we're gonna
Right.
play them like they have a perfect record because we don't want to create bad habits. And
Right.
one of those things that we corrected once we started playing Team Ladder was don't rage, call out. Don't rage,
Okay.
call out. Raging isn't going to win you the game. Calling out's going to win you the game. If you're
Right.
raging about, oh, dude, how'd he kill me? I shot him this many times, instead of calling out, hey, he's on back platform, your other
Okay.
teammate's not going to know who's going to back platform that
Okay.
he's there, because you're raging about how he killed you in this many shots when you shot him this many times and stuff. So,
Right.
like, we kind of corrected that, but at the same time, I mean, what, Black Ops 2 came out 2012. I just turned 17. I still wasn't going to be able to correct that. Like, I mean, it's
Oh
hard
yeah,
to
I get
correct
that.
that.
I get
You know, I'm
that. I
still a
get that.
teenager. I mean, we were all
Right.
still teenagers. It was
And
hard to
how was
correct
that?
that.
Let me ask you that. How was
Um,
that playing at that level as a teenager, going to school? What was your schedule like? What was your
it
day like?
it was well, so during Black Ops 2, I got like in my first like long, well, not my first, but like the most serious long term relationship I've had, and
Okay.
you know, I went to these classes that she do, and it was like career building and like mentorship type of classes,
Okay.
and they had us do like this one program, and or like this one little exercise, and it was like, you know, write down what you want to do in your life and on this card and everything. And then I said I wanted to be a pro Call of Duty gamer, and I got laughed at it. And like they're like this, that's not a career. Like what a professional Call of Duty player, like you're just playing video games. And I kind
Right.
of got laughed at for it. And I don't know, like with professional Call of Duty, like you scrim a lot. You scrim a lot, and
Okay.
like I'd wake up usually like if like let's say it was my weekend, you know, Friday
Right.
came around, you know, we would just probably, you know, we'd play some game battles on Friday. Saturday we'd wake up really early, like 9 o'clock. We'd have
Okay.
scrims ready. We'd have scrims from the night before, because on Twitter there's a whole bunch of tags that, or accounts that you could tag, and then
Okay.
bam, like your tweet would go out and like looking for a team to scrim, and
Okay.
you'd easily find teams. There were so many teams that were wanting to scrim, because back then, like now with CDL, there's so many untapped potential. There's so much untapped potential that is
Okay.
in like the challengers that will never be seen, because there's like 12 teams, which means that there's 12 AR spots, and there's
Okay.
like 30 AR players and challengers that will
Wow.
never be seen because
Wow.
there's so little spots. They're trying to franchise the CDL, and back
Okay.
then, all you had to do back then was buy team pass, buy a hotel room that you needed, go
Okay.
buy plane tickets to the event that you're going to, and then you could play through pool play, and then you could go through losers bracket, and then bam, you end up in loser bracket finals. You win that, you end up in top four, and then you
Okay.
play in winner bracket finals, and if you win that, you go to championship. Like there's so
Wow.
many teams that fought from going through pool play, going into loser bracket finals, going into winter bracket finals, and then going into the championship and winning. There's
Right.
so many teams that did that, and now they've kind of ruined that because MLG doesn't own it anymore. And back then, playing at
Hmm.
Call of Duty at a pro level at 16, well, 15, 16, 17,
Right.
there's so many things I missed out on. Like, it's not like I really wanted to go to it, but like, I never went to Winter Formal. And I'll never be able to go to Winter
Okay.
Formal. Like, I
Right.
totally
Yeah.
skipped out on that because
Yeah.
I was scrimming that night. You know, I was
Right.
playing, like I was scrimming and stuff, and I missed out on prom. I didn't go to prom. There's there's
Right.
so many other high school things that like I just didn't go to. I didn't hang out. I didn't have a lot of friends.
Right.
Luckily, I moved to Sacramento, so I already didn't have a lot of friends moving to a new state like near my junior year. So it was kind of easy just to, like isolate
Right.
myself. But
Right.
I mean, dude, I remember like my love for Call of Duty, as funny as it is, like 2010, I got grounded for the entire summer.
Yes, she did.
Fucked up. Got grounded
Yes.
for the entire summer, but I was still allowed to play games,
Yes.
which was great because we had Xbox Live, we had Modern Warfare 2, and
Right.
that's when that was when I really like balls deep fell in love with Call of Duty. Like when I was
What was
grounded
it
for
about Call
that
of
for
Duty?
that summer, man, honestly, the fact of like when I played COD 4, I was playing with people from school. So I was like, yo, this is
Okay.
so cool. Like I'm playing with like people who are in my class, which I always thought was really cool. And then
Okay.
like I don't know, like I always like I enjoyed Battlefield Bad Company and like I enjoyed Call of Duty
Okay.
2 and Call of Duty Finest Hour and stuff like when we played that on the PlayStation 2
Right.
before I even played online. I enjoyed
Right.
Call of Duty 3 and I even remember like when COD 4 was coming out and then we like I'd see it on X Play. I was like, dude, this is gonna be awesome. Like it's the
Right.
first modern like war game. Like
Yeah,
dude, there was so much hype around COD 4. I'll
it
never
was.
forget that. Like
Yeah.
and the hype around Modern Warfare 2 was exactly the same. Like, dude, we were like going back to a modern warfare type of
Right.
game. Like, it was just so much hype. And I don't know, dude, there's just something about Call of Duty. Like, maybe it was because it was like, still like my first online shooter. Like,
Okay.
in Oregon, we have a Civil War game. It's Ducks versus Beavers.
Yeah.
And my friend Bubba, he would, his family always like did like something at their grandma's house for that game. And I remember it was like 2006 ish, 2007. We went
Mm-hmm.
over there and we went to go watch the Civil War game. And his cousin had like four computers set up in this one room and he had
Right.
Counter Strike Source. So he went in
Right.
there, and me and Bubba, we didn't watch the game at all. We just played Counter Strike Source the entire time, and I loved it. I literally loved it so much, and yeah, that was before I even played COD 4. And I don't know, Call of Duty just like kind of gave me that feeling that I played when I played Source. Like I would just
Okay.
play deathmatch, and I wouldn't play like the S&D that they have or anything like
Okay.
that. I would just play deathmatch, and I loved it. And I don't know, man, Call of Duty, like the progression, like when you would hit a new level back then, like it just felt awesome. Unlocking new
Yeah.
stuff felt awesome, and the game was just fun, dude. Like Call of Duty now is definitely not what it used to be, but Call of Duty back
Right.
then, it was just fun, dude. Like you could tell it was made by gamers. Like
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
they weren't trying to like impress like investment holders or anything like that. Like
Right.
dude, even back like in Black Ops 2, like before the game came out, like and they were hiring people for it, one of the
Right.
requirements was you had to be Max Prestige in one of the Call of Duties, or they
Okay.
wouldn't hire you. Like it was played by like the games were made by people who played Call of Duty, who
Yeah.
loved Call of Duty. Like
Right.
it was, dude, the games were just great. Like they just had a whole different feel to them than they have now.
Right. Let me ask you this: when you were on the team, what rank did you guys make it in the world? What was your highest rank that you guys made before you guys stopped playing?
So S&D, I mean, we kind of jumped between like we would try to get top page. Top page was
Right.
like where you
Okay.
want to be because that's the first page that you see when you look at S&D teams. I
Okay.
think top page back then was like game battles went it completely closed last December or last January. Last
Okay.
January completely
Oh, okay.
closed. Like the website's gone. Like
Wow.
game battles is over. Yeah, like it's
Okay.
end of an era. But I think top page was like top 12 or top 15 teams, and
Really?
we've been top page. I mean, we'd make S&D teams all the time. I mean, we've probably been top page, I don't know, I'd want to say like maybe 4 or 5 times. And then when
Right.
it comes to team ladder, we made the thing about team ladder, we only made one team because you need to have a sub. It takes a little
Okay.
bit longer. It takes a little bit longer for your team ladder team to actually be verified to play games. So like, if you make a new team ladder team, it might take it's going to at least take 24 hours for your team to be
Okay.
ready to actually play games.
Okay.
Your sub needs to verify everything. So team ladder, we made I think we only made one team, and
Okay.
gosh, I want to say we made it to maybe before I stopped in Ghost. I want to
Hmm.
say top 40, top 50,
Wow.
which is like page like 3, 4.
Wow. That's huge.
But team ladders like
That's huge.
I mean you see like actual pro teams on team ladder. Like team ladders legit. Like
Okay.
that's like S&D, like there are S&D stars. Like there's people who got into the pro circuit because they made a name in S&D and then they got into a
Okay.
pro team and they just played well. Like there's a player like Embos who used to play. He was an
Okay.
S&D star back in Black Ops 1, got into a team in MW3 and
Okay.
made a name for himself like throughout there. So like S&D stars were like a huge thing. And
Right.
back on and like if you didn't have a team, like let's say like I didn't have a team,
Yeah.
I could post myself as a free agent, say how many pro points I have, say what
Okay.
teams I was on, say what the ranks were on those teams, win loss ratios, all that stuff. So you could get picked up like that. Like dude, game battles was just it was perfect for a Call of Duty
Okay.
player.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean I literally only stopped in Ghost because I was in a part of Sacramento that used to be underwater. So the internet connection already wasn't that great.
Right.
And then I
Right.
had cricket internet, and then Wi-Fi was being
Yeah.
used on it while I
Right.
was connected to it, and my internet
Right.
on Ghost was just horrible. Like it was to the point
Right.
of unplayable. So, and I had a girlfriend at the time, so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill. I'm not gonna play. And then I
Right.
came back. I came back in Advanced Warfare, played a little bit on there, and got used to advanced movement. And then Black Ops
Right.
3, I saw a little bit more like success in Black Ops 3, but
Okay.
nothing really.
So,
It was to the point where after Black Ops 3, I was like, I'm done competing.
did you have gamers that went pro that you looked up to
Well,
that you could follow? Was that too early of a time that
no, no,
you were
no. There's definitely some household names. Black Ops 2 created household names, but like I watched Black Ops 1 a lot
okay.
when Black Ops 1 was on Pro Circuit, no one was watching it to the point to where they almost took Call of Duty off Pro Circuit because no one was
Okay.
watching it. Like the only people in the stands were the teams that were waiting to play their next match.
Okay.
So like they had to go get some food, sit in the stands, like it was empty. Like Black Ops
Okay.
1 was like unless you liked Call of Duty, it was
Right.
the viewing experience sucked back then.
Okay.
But like, Nade Shot, Scump, I loved Scump, TP, Aches, like those were like definitely some names that I got that I really looked up to. Karma, Crim Six, um, Killa from the whole Frico Impact Squad, like
Okay.
back in Black Ops 2, like one of the very first tournaments was like Frat Cup 4, and these guys that no one had ever heard of, it was like it was like a 10-hour tournament, and these
Wow.
guys
Wow.
they won the tournament called Frico Impact. No one had heard of them, and then they go on to win MLG Dallas. They win a
Wow.
UMG event. They placed second at MLG Anaheim, and no one heard of these guys, and they just were like came out of nowhere, and I was just like,
Yeah.
that is so awesome to like see these dudes who no one
Right.
knew about, and they just come out frying in a new game and make a name for themselves, and like
Right.
it was just cool. Like they made a name for themselves so much in that
Awesome.
game that even that they didn't see any more success in Black Ops 2 after that, they still got put on really big teams
Okay.
because of like the names that they made. Like Parasite, like dude, he got onto a team back in, gosh, I'd say Cold War, but Parasite's just such a piece of shit. Like no one wants to team with him. He's just an actual shitty person. Like no one wants to team with him. He's toxic.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
toxic. He's toxic as fuck. Same with Killa and Miracles. There's all toxic.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You took a break and then you come back. And you come back and you start getting back into gaming to where you're at right now, where you're really trying to get back into that pro status of gaming. When did you come back? Tell me about Trovo and what you're playing now and how that went for you and how it's going for you right now.
Well, back when I first came back, so like I said, I took a break in Call of Duty Ghost. Ghost came out in 2013. They usually come out always in November, so the season doesn't really start until 2014. 2014, I didn't really play the entire year, and
Okay.
Advanced Warfare came out in 2014, and I kind of started playing. Gosh, I'd say 2015 is when I started playing because that's when I got my Xbox One.
Okay.
And with Advanced Warfare, like the whole thing with Call of Duty was like everyone was saying it was copy pasta. Every game same year after year. And Advanced Warfare was like the first game that like had advanced movement. I was horrible at it. It was so hard to get used to. And I pretty much just played like rank play and like I'd play some game battles. Excuse me. I'd play some game battles, but I mean, I was not that great at Advanced Warfare. I was all right, and I kind of got used to it near the end. And Black
Okay.
Ops 3, when that came out, like Black Ops 3, I remember I was so excited for Black Ops 3. Like I literally cried because I was so sick of Advanced Warfare. Like you double tap your jump button and you're 10 feet up in the air, and it was just
Right.
annoying. And when Black Ops 3 came out, I bought season pass for the game. I grinded the hell out of
Right.
Black Ops 3, and I don't know, ever since I came back to Call of Duty, like I feel like I was always trying to get back to where I was like in Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghosts. But to be fair, like those games were completely different. They were boots on the ground, they were way slower,
Okay.
and this was like a completely different type of Call of Duty. And like I mean, we won like actually, we didn't even win an online tournament in Black Ops 3. I think the highest that
Mm.
we placed was like fourth.
Oh
And
wow. Okay.
when you place fourth on an online tournament, I mean, dude, you don't win
Pretty
shit.
bad. Okay.
You don't win shit. Like, yeah, you still
Okay.
get pro points and stuff like that, but like,
Okay.
you don't win shit other than
Okay.
that. And I mean, sometimes the pro points are better. Like, don't get me
Okay.
wrong, but like, I was on a team that like, I mean, dude, we were just really dedicated to each other. Like,
Okay.
I just aside from being friends and in real life and like actually knowing each
Right.
other for like a long time, like we just had so much chemistry with each other. We knew how each other played, and like we
Right.
even tried to join other teams like before Black Ops 2. Like we get into some disagreements and we tried to join other teams, and it just
Right.
wasn't the same. Like we just had so much chemistry with each other, and we just really stuck it out. And
Nice.
I don't know, Black Ops 3, like I just never got as good in the advanced movement era. And that's why like
Okay.
once Black Ops 3 was like pretty much done, I was like, dude, I think I'm just done with the competing. I'm done with like and like it was tiring, like waking up and scrimming all the time, like
Okay.
dude,
You
it
got
takes a
burned
lot of
out.
yeah, it takes a lot of time. Like
Right.
and to take all that time and like really see nothing come from it, like it just sucks. And like
Right.
I feel like if Call of Duty Ghosts, like if I actually never would have stopped, I definitely would have went to a LAN event. Like we were
Okay.
at that point to where like we were winning games with ease, and like Call of Duty Ghosts, like man, like I mean, I stopped probably around
Mm.
I don't want to say February 2014, March 2014, around that time, and dude,
Okay.
the amount of success that we were seeing was crazy. Actually, no, I think I stopped around like February because I stopped before MLG Dallas because we wanted to either go to Dallas or we wanted to go to Anaheim. And since I lived in Sacramento, I was like, it'd probably be easier for me to get to Anaheim than it would be for me
Right.
to get to
Absolutely.
Dallas. And
Right.
Justin, one of my teammates, he lived in Prineville, Oregon. Jay, one of my teammates, he lived in Troutdale. And then
Okay.
our friend Matt, he lived in Chattanooga. So it would have
Okay.
been a little bit more of a distance for him. It'd be
Right.
easier for him to get to Dallas, but at the same time, I mean, we had three people who could be in Anaheim really
Right.
easily, and we had a sub who could have been in Anaheim too. So like, I feel like that we definitely would have actually played out of land, and I feel like that we could have had a crazy run out of land. Like we were just, dude, the cohesion that we had in Ghosts was just crazy, and
Right.
I don't know, we've never found that again. And I mean, I played like I've played pretty much every Call of Duty. I didn't play World War II, but
Right.
I started streaming in Black Ops 4 on Twitch in
Okay.
2018. Black Ops 4 came out. sold my Fortnite account that I had at the time. I sold that for like $450.
Mm-hmm.
Sold a whole bunch of like stuff that I had on RuneScape to sell the gold and turn the gold into real money. And then I bought a
Right.
copy of Black Ops
Nice.
4 for me. I bought a copy for my friend Justin, and we played a shit ton of Black Ops 4. And that's when I actually like started getting into streaming and stuff.
Okay.
And
And tell me
like,
about streaming. Tell me about
yeah,
that
yeah,
now.
but Black Ops 4 got me into streaming.
Okay.
I mean, I still watch competitive. I've
Okay.
always watched competitive, even when I wasn't playing in like Infinite Warfare and World War II and stuff like that.
Right.
I was still watching competitive. I love competitive Call of
Right.
Duty. I mean, I was watching last night. I still watch CDL stuff. I
Okay.
really enjoy competitive Call of Duty still. Like, I love it. But, I got into Black Ops 4 and I streamed that for about
Hmm.
about 4 months or so, and
Okay.
I stopped. There's a lot of personal issues that came up in my life that happened, and I
Right.
kind of stopped streaming Black Ops 4. Got rid of my whole computer and everything that I was streaming on, and had the game
Right.
on. And that was like I kind of just went MIA. Did my own thing.
Yeah.
I was like 23 at the time, so I just lived my life, started going to
Right.
concerts more, hanging out more, just
Right.
doing things that I didn't do when I was actually competing. I just
Right. I get that.
actually got out and did shit.
I get that.
And my friend Dylan, he told me about Call of Duty Mobile. He's like, "Hey man, there's a Call of Duty Mobile coming out," and Dylan's always known that I've just been into Call of Duty, and
Mm-hmm.
you brought up, hey man, Call of Duty Mobile is coming out on iOS and shit, and I looked it up, and I saw that it was coming out like a week from when he told me, and so I was like, all right, I pre-ordered it and downloaded once the game came out, and I played
Nice.
Call of Duty Mobile, and I had fun with it and everything, but I'd play it every now and then, and I started playing it a little bit more and more, and I never spent money on the game until like I'd say like December 2019. The game came out in October 2019 for iOS, or September,
Mm-hmm.
and I started spending money on it in like December 2019 because I didn't want to spend money at first because I was like, I don't know, it's a mobile game. I don't know if I'm actually
Right.
gonna play it. And
Right.
once I started playing it more, I was like, all right, I'll spend a little bit of money on it. I spent like $1.99. I was like, if I
Okay.
lose $1.99, never use it again, whatever. It's $1.99.
Right.
But that just really kind of spiraled. Like season 3 came out, or ranked came out in January 2020. I
Yeah.
hit max rank in the ranked multiplayer mode.
Nice.
I
Nice.
hit legendary in the BR mode. Only time I
Nice.
ever hit legendary in BR mode because it's boring. Playing BR by yourself is just super boring. But
Okay.
I've done ranked legendary every since January 2020. Every time rank reset
Okay.
comes around, I've done it. It's been
Nice.
29 times now.
Nice.
Um, and
And
I
just a
don't know.
second, Eli, just a second, Trust. Just to let you guys know, if you guys are joining me right now, I'm here with Trust. He's an up and coming pro gamer. You guys can follow him and watch him play right now on Trovo. And we're going to get into where he's going, what his goals are for him being an up and coming pro gamer. Go back to what you're saying, Trust.
No, but so January, I've hit legendary like 29 times or
Right.
so now, and COD Mobile, like what was so cool about COD Mobile was it was like how the game has ran. It ran at first, like when it first came out, it was set up like old school Call of Duty, perk
Okay.
wise, attachment wise, and then a little bit later, like they added Gunsmith, which is in like newer Call of Duties like Modern Warfare 2019 up until now. Like they have Gunsmith and all this
Right.
other stuff, and then they added that later on. And now Call of Duty, I mean, you die super fast. I mean, anyone who plays like console Call of Duty or plays Black Ops 6 will know you die insanely fast.
Okay.
And it's the same thing in COD Mobile. You die insanely fast. And it's more like on par with like how newer Call of Duties are, which,
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, obviously, I will always love older Call of Duties, but I understand
Right.
that was an era. That era is over. We're kind
Right.
of in a new era. It is
Yep.
what it is. I still enjoy Call of Duty for what it is. I mean, it has its flaws and everything, but I've really I never thought I'd enjoy a mobile game like I enjoy COD Mobile. I mean, I have over
Right.
20,000 games played on the game. Like, I almost
Wow.
have 300,000 kills. Like, I really enjoy this game,
Right.
and it's funny. Like, just the other day, I got offered to be on a team. Like, this guy came into my stream. He was telling me about himself, and like we were just kind of chopping it up, and
Right.
he offered me like, hey, I'm gonna add you on COD Mobile, and asked me if I
Nice.
wanted to be on a team and everything, which I've been hesitant. I've thought about getting on a team every now and then, but
Okay.
I mean, when it comes to COD and professional Call of Duty, anyone who has been around the scene or knows, once you hit like 25, 26, like you're kind of starting to hit like senior citizen age when it comes to Call of Duty. That's when you're looking old. Like Counter Strike, like you'll have dudes who are like damn near in their 40s still playing professional Counter Strike, but
Right.
like I mean, I'm 29. I'll be 30 this year. Like I'm
Right.
I'm old when it comes to Call of Duty professional. Like the oldest player that we had was Clayster, and Clayster was like 32 when he stopped competing.
Okay.
And like, I mean, dude, Clayster used to be one of the best players back in Black Ops 2. He got
Okay.
select fire on the SK or on the FAL band, like because he was so dominant with it at MLG Dallas. I will never forget that. But yeah,
Right.
he got one single gun and attachment banned because he was so good with it. And
Okay.
like Clayster is insane, but like, dude, at 32 when he was playing, like, it was like, I mean, he was dropping bombs. Like, he was getting
Right.
dumpstered on every
So then
game.
what are
So,
your
so like,
goals?
so like
What are your
like
goals?
for me personally, like since I don't really want to like compete at that high level anymore, I
Yeah.
do enjoy streaming. And you know what I mean?
Okay.
Obviously, like I'll always have that competitive mentality. I always want to
Absolutely.
win. When I do play, I play for top 5K. Like
Right.
I'm playing still, and I'm
Right.
still competing for something. It's not like the same thing, but
Right.
I still do. I mean, I still enjoy grinding the game like I used to,
Right.
but my goals personally are I want to do streaming. I want to just keep pursuing streaming.
Right.
Eventually, doing the job that I'm doing right now, go to something part time that's not as strenuous on my job,
Right.
have my streaming support the other side, and then
Right.
eventually go into full on streaming. And I mean, I play COD Mobile now, and lots of my stream has honestly been built off of COD Mobile. But there are
Okay.
other games that I do plan on streaming once I get my
What games are you
PC.
playing? Oh, go ahead.
No, 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 you're fine. Once I get my PC, I do. There's a variety of games that I like to play. And one day I might be feeling like some Skyrim or something.
Right.
Another day I might be feeling Battlefield or something like that. But
Right.
pretty much just whatever game I'm into is pretty much what I'll be streaming. Like there before I started streaming Black Ops 4, I streamed a game on my PC called Iron Sight, and Iron
Okay.
Sight was pretty much set up like it was pretty much just set up like old school COD 4 type of
Okay.
game where it's just fast paced, really fun to had a lot of replayability,
Right.
nice streaks to get. Like it was just a lot of fun, and it was set up like those games. And I
Right.
played that leading up to Black Ops 4, and before that, I just pretty much played whatever I was in the mood for.
Okay.
I'd play like House Flipper. Sometimes I'd play Civilization. Like
Okay. Okay.
I just play whatever I was into.
Okay.
If I was having fun playing it, I'd play that, and if people were enjoying it, people would enjoy it. Lots of
How is
times,
it?
like you don't have to be like you don't have to be crazy good at a game. Like
Right.
even when it comes to like a Call of Duty game or something, you don't have to be
Right.
crazy good, but you have a great personality. Sometimes people just like a personality and they'll watch you
Right.
play
Very
whatever
true.
game.
Very
They
true.
just enjoy watching you and like just hanging out with you. So like you
Right.
don't have to be crazy good or anything like that.
Right.
I'm just a person to where I always have that competitive mindset to where I
Okay.
do want to be the best. I want to be the best that I can be.
Right.
And I mean, I'm getting a little older. Reflexes aren't as fast anymore and stuff. Like I get dumpster on a lot. I get humbled a lot. I get humbled a
Okay.
lot more than I used to.
Okay.
But
So
now I
you
can deal with
are
it.
streaming now on Trovo.
Yes, I
You
stream on
have built
Trovo.
up quite a following on Trovo, and it's
Yeah.
growing. So eventually, where can we find you streaming at?
So I do plan on moving to YouTube. I have a TikTok that I mean I have not posted on TikTok. It's probably been realistically, probably like it's probably been like a year.
Okay.
I want to say it's been a while,
Okay.
but I am gonna start. I there was one point to where I didn't post on TikTok because I thought it was gonna be getting shut down. So I was like,
Right.
"There's no point to promote TikTok if it's gonna be getting shut down."
Right.
But I mean, that was just also kind of like another excuse just to like go
Right.
into like hours of stream footage and cut stuff out and all
Right.
that. But I am gonna be going on to TikTok, posting more on there, kind of growing the
Okay.
following on there. I do plan on doing a full switch to YouTube here soon. Trovo,
Okay.
as much as I love Trovo, I always have soft spot for it because that's where I
Right.
grew. It is dying. I mean, it's slowly losing users, streamers, stuff like that.
Mm.
So I do plan on leaving Trovo here soon, going
Okay.
to YouTube. And as I'm on YouTube, growing my TikTok, once I get to a
Okay.
point where I'm able to stream from TikTok, I will stream on there, do multi streams and everything like that.
Nice.
And in the meantime, saving up money to get to myself a full PC setup to
Right.
where I can start streaming full PC games and everything like that. I
Right.
do plan on getting a PlayStation 5 Pro because
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto
Awesome.
6 is obviously coming out.
Right.
I want to be able to play that. So I might get an Elgato or something, get myself, like a MacBook or something, like a
Right.
laptop, to where I can hook my Elgato up to my laptop and then stream, games from my PS5, still stream stuff like that. So I do plan on doing different stuff. I have some stuff in the works. Right
Okay.
now I have, there's a lot of people who still watch me on Trovo. There's, a lot of good friends I've grown on there,
Right.
lots of consistent viewers and people I enjoy hanging out with.
Right.
And, I'm just riding out the Trovo wave,
That's
riding out
awesome.
the Trovo wave. There has been actually a few new streamers who came in there and like they're really blowing up, and
Nice.
I've networked with them and they're really cool. And that's another reason why I've just been staying on Trovo. There's been little things that have been
Right.
happening to make me want to stay on Trovo, but this switch will eventually happen. I definitely will be going to YouTube. I've thought
Okay.
about other platforms. I thought about Kick. I've thought about Twitch, and
Right.
I don't know. I feel like that YouTube, out of all those platforms, I feel like that YouTube just has like this endless ceiling. And COD
Yeah.
Mobile is more
Yeah.
frequent on YouTube than you're gonna
Right.
see it on Twitch. Like, I
Right.
mean, there's a lot more multiplayer streams on YouTube, and you see a lot more
Right.
BR streams or Spanish streams when it comes to Twitch. So
Right.
I just feel like that going to YouTube, it'd be an easy switch. Well, people watch COD Mobile videos on YouTube already,
Yeah, they
so
do.
it kind of just makes sense to go to YouTube, in my personal opinion.
Well, basically, we're talking to Trust, who is going from pro gamer to a pro streamer, okay, and coming to a stream near you. You guys can check him out on Trovo. It all the links to reach out to Trust will be in the description of the video, and you can also catch Trust at least once a month on Rossi Talks, which is on Movie Lovers Unite YouTube channel and podcast, and we do a gaming segment on Rossi Talks. And so we just finished up our Grand Theft Auto gaming about a week or so ago. So you guys can go back and check that out on Movie Lovers Unite. But I am Rossi McCree. I'm the host of Rossi's Clubhouse. And like I said before, I bring talent from all areas of entertainment here on the show. And once a month, I'll bring someone in from outside of the state of California and highlight them on the show. So tonight we are highlighting Trust. And you guys can follow Trust and watch him fly, watch him see what he does. You guys will definitely know this young man. You will know him. I appreciate you coming on the show and being our first gamer on Rossi's Clubhouse.
Well, I appreciate
It's
you
it's
having me here.
absolutely it's and like I told you guys, this has been a special interview. This is my son, and he has worked really hard to get where he is in gaming, coming from where he was at to where he is now, and that's been a road that he has traveled. Let me tell you. So this is huge for him, and he's done a great job. And congratulations, really, Trust. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
Trovo. You're killing it. I love going into your streams and watching you play and
Thank you.
watching you play some Call of Duty. mobile, and it's really hard. And I give it to anyone that's
Yeah.
able to play at that level. It is not easy at all. So I give it to you for continuing and getting back into something that you absolutely love. And yes, kids, you can grow up and be a pro gamer. You can grow up and be a
Yes, you
pro
can.
streamer. You can do that.
And
Go ahead.
honestly, I will say this, for anyone who's out there and wants to start streaming, it's never too late. That was the
Right.
one thing. Like, I didn't start streaming really seriously until 2023 because I always thought it was too late. And the one thing that made me
Right.
start streaming from my phone and streaming COD Mobile was I was playing it every day and I was playing it for no reason. And I was like, if I'm playing it every day, I might as well just stream it. I knew I had a good enough phone. I knew I had good enough internet connection. I
Right.
figured out how to stream it. I figured out how to set everything up, got all of that, and then just kind of went from there. And every time I logged on, I was turning on my stream, and it was never for me. I just truly enjoyed playing the game, and I truly enjoy
Right.
streaming. So it was never like a. I mean, I streamed to myself for months, dude. I streamed to just myself for
Right.
months, dude.
And how many
And
followers do you have now on Trovo?
I'm at like 2080 around there. So
Wow.
just about to hit 2.1k.
Nice.
So 2.1k, 3 subs, one waiting on a resub. So,
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a mundane process and it does take a
Yes.
while, but if you're someone who actually just truly enjoys gaming and you truly enjoy streaming, you don't really think about the numbers. I knew
Right.
eventually it's going to hit, or I'm just going to stream to myself for a really long time.
Right.
Either or, I was fine. I did the same thing on Twitch. I streamed to myself for ages. I streamed to myself pretty much the entire time I was on Twitch. And I was on Twitch for about like 4 5 months around that time
Right.
frame. I streamed to myself the entire time, and you know what? I still had a great time because I didn't really care. Like, I just was enjoying. I was gaming, and I happened to be live, and that was pretty much what I did with COD Mobile. I just
Right.
happened to be live, and the thing is that luckily I started streaming at a time where COD Mobile is still being watched and everything,
Right.
and people are still looking for COD Mobile streamers, and
Right.
I just happened to just hit a really good spot, and I just had nights where I'd gain 100 followers and
Right.
89, and I just had some really good nights, and it's crazy to see where I'm at now. It's crazy to
Well,
open up my Trovo, look at my profile, and see where I've
right.
actually grown myself to. It's awesome.
Well, congratulations to you. I'll definitely be following you and everyone else.
Thank you.
Also, to those that are listening to Rossi's Clubhouse, thank you guys so much for making me number six and shows, music reviews, interviews. Thank you guys so much for that. That was about 2 weeks ago. We made number 21 about a week ago. So we are
Nice.
growing and we are climbing, and it is a process. But thank you guys so much. Please go up wherever you listen to podcasts at, guys. Leave me a 5-star review. Let me know who you like to see next on the show. But I do have a lot of amazing talent still coming this month. I have Too Fine and Divine. Kayla AK is coming on Rossi's Clubhouse in about 2 weeks. I have Lance Laswell that will also be on my show. Thank you so much, Lance. I'm so looking forward to speaking with you about your music and everything that's going on. Kayla, I can't wait to spotlight you and talk to you about your music and your talent. So there's so much more to come at Rossi's Clubhouse here in April. Thank you so much again to Trust for joining us. Also, I want to shout out to my Unfiltered Studio family. Thank you all so much. You guys can go and check out Unfiltered Studios, Pedals of Support, Finding Your Way, Nailed It with St. Joe, and the Stupid History Minute. Okay, so check out my family. Thank you so much, John Gregorio. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. And we're going to get out of here, guys.